Well, a man accused of holding 3 young women captive for a decade in what's being described as a house of horrors will face a judge today to hear the charges against him. Ariel Castro faces 4 counts of kidnapping the women and a child born to one of them in that home. He also faces 3 counts of rape. Yesterday, we got a first look at Castro. He was covering his face while he was walking into Cleveland City Jail. So joining us now is Evyenia Poumpouras, a security expert and former Secret Service special agent. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Not just that, but you've interrogated some pretty tough cookies in your career. So here we have 3 brothers. We found out now that 2 of the brothers are not going to be charged, but I'm sure the process of figuring out who's responsible, who's not, who's involved would have been a pretty complicated one. How do you think the interrogation would have went?
So when you have 3 suspects like this, it's actually in the benefit of law enforcement. You immediately want to apprehend the suspects and split them up, right? Why do we do that? We don't want them to have time to rehearse, to speak to one another and try to get a story in line in any type of situation when you have multiple suspects. This also benefits law enforcement because now you've got 3 different sources of possibilities of getting information. And then there's the fear element that goes into that, where each suspect is worried, who's going to break, who's going to speak. What is that person going to say? Is it going to be the alpha of the group, the ringleader, who's going to say, you know what, if they talk, I'm going to get the fall because I'm the one who's done the worst. I'm the one who's going to get the most severe punishment. So maybe I'll give it up first. Or is it going to be the weaker of the group who's going to say, you know what, I'm going to break. I'm going to tell him because I'm scared. So in that type of situation, or in this situation, that is truly the best way to operate. And then you can also corroborate the information. So if they're all telling you consistently the same information, then you probably know some of it may be to be true. But then if one brother's throwing something else out there, you can try to corroborate that or play that off another brother. Hey, your brother said you did this. What do you think of that? And then you see kind of that shift or change in that person's behavior, that look of fear come over them, like, oh no, what did my brother say?
Right, and then you can sort of work that a little.
Yeah.
So we know 2 of the brothers, at least at this point, are not being charged in connection to this case, but can they still be of value to the police?
They can be of value to the police in the sense they can give a character definition of the main brother. What's he like? So we understand that the main suspect, Castro, you know, they're saying that he was very friendly, he was overly out there with his neighbors, whatnot. So that's indicative of a very deviant behavior. When somebody does these things behind closed doors, they do what? They put on this facade, this very, hey, hi, how are you? How can I help you? You know, this kind of interactive behavior to do what? To throw people off. So their brothers or family members know these people intimately, so they can tell you the down and dirty of what they're really like. Really,
that's so true. I mean, I think you keep asking yourself what sort of person would do this. And I don't know much about, you know, official titles, but is this a type of psychopath?
I think that this is one of those. This is not typical behavior. Obviously, this is a small part of the population that does behave this way, and this is very deviant behavior. You're talking about a long period of time. 10 years where you're thinking, did this person ever feel any remorse, guilt, you know, aborting these, not just raping them, kidnapping them, aborting these babies and doing these things. There is some type of probably disorder, personality disorder, some type of psychological deviant behavior there.
Yeah, definitely. It's some scary stuff. I know people in the community are asking themselves, how did they not notice what was going on? Evyenia Poumpouras, security expert, thanks for joining us again this morning.
Thank you.